So, did you work on this, Vivek, on that Google form? On the vision and mission statement of Executive MBA? All of you worked on it? You wrote it? No, who haven't done it? So most of you have not done it. Who has done it? You've done it. So what did you mention? Okay, anybody online here? So many of you online. Yeah, next 10 minutes being noisy is perfectly okay. So go ahead and have you worked on that mission statement? Yeah. So what did you mention as the mission statement for you guys? Are okay with me walking around like this? Okay. Not Gavi. The Dan and Sagar MBA. That's yeah, good. That's good. Okay. Anybody else worked on it? Anybody else online who worked on this? No, I don't see anybody. Okay. But the point was, what you have done or anybody has done is very generic. That's what I was saying. That could apply for any branch of Dan and Sagar. But what I wanted was the executive MBA. So now let's see what we are doing. Is all of you understand vision, mission, and all that, right? All of you. So, what do you think would be the vision of an executive MBA program? What do you think? Why do you think Dan and Saga started an executive MBA? Not a regular. I mean, they have a regular MBA program, but then if they already have an MBA program, why did they start a executive MBA program? They
saw attend my class.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk. Yeah, go ahead. Huh? But why executive MBA?
No, one of the
So a lot of working people.
People are going to college.
So now, you know, there was a small gap which you were not, like you didn't want to quit your job, but you still wanted to do your MBA. Virtually impossible. You would either quit your job, go 9 to 5 college, or give up the dream of doing an MBA. So fine, perfect, excellent. So you decided that they'll start an executive MBA program. That could be the mission. But what do they want to achieve? What do they want to achieve by starting an MBA, executive MBA program? Polish the skills of as per the market demand. Okay. What else? And the updated market demand. Okay. What else? Ladies first. Okay, so now perfect. He said something, Mr. Nike said something, you said something, and then so all of you put together, let's try to come up with one idea of an vision statement. What do they really want? Do they really want? We are doing an executive MBA program in Dan and Sagar so that we have 10,000 students. Do you think that's a vision statement? So that the Electronic City Road is going to be crowded during Saturday, Sunday. No, can't be, right? There has to be something better. So what are they trying to do? They were one point that he started off the conversation. was that there was a small gap in addressing a problem of somebody. His problem, nobody was addressing. I'm assuming that the first time in the world that Dayanand Sagar came up with an executive MBA, and there was no executive MBA before that, then his problem was that how can I work and study? So we addressed one problem. One problem of a customer was addressed. Yeah, by making him come on weekend and do that. What is the other issue? What is the bigger objective? What is the nicer thing that you want? Why do you hit your child? Because he didn't do his homework, or why you hit a child when he steals a cookie from the jar without telling you? Why? Because the cookie will get over or the jar will break. So why are you hitting it? It will become a practice or to provide learning. And why do you make him sit and work at home for 1 hour, 2 hours? So that he develops an habit of reading, studying and all. So with that kind of an idea, why do you think there is an executive MBA? To provide management skills for working professionals, to ensure that better managers come out. And you obviously know better managers means better company, better efficiency, and the nation as a company grows, right? How imagine the problem of how many of you know a guy called Parag Agarwal, Twitter guy? How many of you know Satya Nadella? I'm sure. How many of you don't know Satya Nadella would be a better question, right? How many of you don't know Sundar Pichai? So what is happening to all of these? All of these guys, what is happening? They come, do their engineering in India. They end up going and doing a master's or something else outside in the US. And they get some finest jobs. And what the finest jobs? They end up driving a company which is doing much better thanks to their guidance. So what is it that India wants? Or what is it that India wants and eventually Dayanand Sagar wants? Is that eventually we need to produce high quality engineers who will be able to drive our own companies forward. So that is the kind of a vision statement that I was looking from all of you all. And of course, there is all of this, but we will just, because the class has started, we will just go ahead with the. Yeah, anybody else has anything to say? Specifically designed for corporate executives. Okay, that's fair enough. Now, by the time I learn to get this going. Where is my screen? I don't see my screen. How do I, can somebody help me out? Can you help me pull out the other screen? Well, he's an expert. Huh? Yesterday also he was very helpful. Huh? Okay, come. Just pull, help me with my, yeah. Pull out the other window, which is somewhere else. Yeah, I want, no, I don't want this. I want this. Okay, good. Okay, we'll do one thing. Yeah, I want this and yeah. How do I change? No, I want the next page. Okay. Can you mute them all? I think they're testing their own. Okay. Okay, good. So welcome to class 3, and let's see where we were. Class 3 is almost 50% over. So by now you guys should have been more or less experts in marketing. But then before that, I should be an expert in screen management. No, I don't think it was. How come I don't get this? No, it's not happening. I think we'll have Imtiaz sit for about half an hour. Let him also. Okay, good. So the idea is we are, for those of you who don't, who are wondering which class am I sitting, this is a class on marketing. And we've completed almost 2 classes. Class 1 was a kind of a intro to the subject. Class 2 will do a little bit of a warm up for guys like them who have just come. And so what is marketing? Marketing, there's many definitions. So I will try every week to give you a new definition of marketing. I'll try to give you a new flavor to it, right? So generally don't write down anything. Let's sit down, fold your hands, listen, absorb. Absorb is more important than writing down, okay? So marketing is all about creating a value. What does that value mean? Is that, I mean, what's the big deal of us making a big announcement that we have an executive MBA program when his intention is to do a PhD in some specialized sciences? So he doesn't, an executive MBA program doesn't have any value to somebody who wants to do a specialization in, let's say, hardcore computing sciences. So for him, this is not news, right? Many a time, there are lots of news. Only news which matters to us is gathers our attention. And again, so you need to give a value to what the product is. Unless and until the customer sees a value in what you're doing, why would anybody buy that product? Okay. Oh, I have this wonderful product. Would you like to? I've been wanting to. I just changed my computer. I want to give it off. But people must see value in it. Otherwise, why would anybody buy it? I'm telling them, hey man, trust me, it's a early 2015 Mac. Take it. How much? I said 30,000. Oh, sorry, I don't see value in it. At 10,000, possibly he might take it and give it to his kid to play. So the point is how much of value. Again, that's one important point. The second is, why would anybody come up with a product or give it a value if it is not profitable to me? Unless and until I belong to a charity organization. But even charity is profitability. What is profitability? Is that if I do charity, maybe I might go to heaven. That might be the intent why I'm doing. Or I've done sins in the past, so I want to cover up my sins. So they say, no, you should never question a saint's past, or a sinner still has a future. Okay. So so then again, what is marketing? It's creating, communicating, and delivering an exchange. There is an exchange. There has to be an exchange. I give you something, you give me back in something. I give you 3 hours of lecture, give me back your attention. Or what is it called? The offering to a guru could be that you get a great placement and say, hey, good man, I mean, because I attended your class and whatever subject, I got a good. So it's an exchange. Again, the word is value, value, value. If it's not valuable, then why would anybody want to be sitting there? If it's not valuable, why would you want to drive 20 kilometers and come to attend the class? If it's not valuable, you'd rather want to watch. I mean, it's going to be an interesting test match. You would want to watch that and give up all that and do it, right? And that's why she came late. She was just watching first 5 overs of the cricket match. So she said, first 10 minutes of the no value. So I can come late, right? So then again, the value proposition. This is what it is. So the idea of marketing is sell the problem you solve. Sell the problem you solve, not the product you make. So we can't say we are an executive MBA program, we offer this course over weekend. We have some of the finest professors. So what? Instead of that, if we sell you, why are you watching Kapil Sharma's show over the weekend? Come and educate yourself. That you are stuck in your organization, you're stuck in your company, you're not able to move forward. Juniors are coming away and taking up your skill sets. Especially, that's the biggest problem we are facing, is that if we do not move from where we are, the younger ones will come and push us out. So what should I do? So I have to create a pain and say that I have the painkiller. Which one will you take more regularly, a painkiller or a vitamin? Obviously a painkiller. Oh my God, it's paining. The doctor said, take the painkiller. Regularly you must have vitamin. Nobody takes vitamins. So that's why if your product is a painkiller, then people will run behind you. Okay, if your product is a vitamin, it's a nice to have. I know it's good to have it, but then why would we really want to spend some time on it? So this is one definition of marketing. So now I'll do the next move, and thank you, sir. Okay. So, so this is what we did last time. Mission statement, vision statement. What's wrong with the world? I tried to explain to you all. You're done with it. Then we talked about SWOT. You also answered something on SWOT in my Google form. I hope some of you have done it. And let's see, what do I have on the chat mode there? Yeah, hi. Anybody want to say something on the chat mode? Just come in. Are you all listening to me? Are you all there? 53 of you?
Yeah, Professor.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we did SWOT. We also did. By the time I become an expert on this. It's here. Okay. Yeah, okay, moving. No problem. Given it moves this way. So we also did what's called a VRIO model. VRIO model, and you know what the VRIO is. All of you have answered. We'll have to move faster. We also talked about markets and oceans. I think some of you have answered that, and all of you are very clear. Then we also did Magic Quadrant. There was few questions on Magic Quadrant. I chose a slide which had nothing inside this, so there was a lot of confusion. Now I picked up another one which has a lot of it, in which we are saying that Zoom is a market leader, Google is a challenger. If he makes up his mind, he could possibly dethrone Zoom, or it's a subjective conversation. There are lots of local players, and then there are some visionaries. So the idea was that where do we use Magic Quadrant? That was a question that I was trying to ask you all. And the Magic Quadrant is used to understand where each one is and how much is that individual capable of moving forward. So here it is, completeness of vision. Here's some great plans, like the article that I asked you to read. What was the article I asked you to read? Bounds. So what was the first statement is great vision by Bhavesh Agarwal, right? That is Bhavesh Agarwal, or the Ola guy. Great idea, but his ability to execute is becoming questioned, right? I mean, he's been promising I'll deliver, promising, not been happening so far. So the ability to execute is being questioned. So we are not sure whether he's truly a visionary. Can he really stand up? That's the right time for Bounce to come up and say, hey man, we can do better job. So would you want to invest in Bounce, or would you want to invest in Ola? Or do you want to continue to invest in Ather? Or do you want to have more money pumped into Bajaj Electric or TVS Electric? That kind of an analysis is what you do with a Magic Quadrant. You analyze where everybody is and who would you want to, right, bet your money on. There used to be, Warren Buffett's very famous question was, when he gives lectures to guys, is choose a guy from this group, or let's say choose a guy from this group. Actually, a younger crowd would have been better to understand this, or choose a guy from your 10th standard or somebody who you think would do wonders. So and does that person actually end up doing wonders? That is a question. So a lot of time we've seen that the first rank students in our class haven't necessarily done all that well, and you seem to have some thought on that. Okay, or the back of the class guys seem to have done better. But once in a while, you would have noticed that this guy definitely has some stuff, and he ends up doing better as well. So that is what is known as the completeness of vision and the ability to execute. That is what it is. To give an example on that, I happened to meet long back. I was much younger than you guys are. That I ended up meeting a gentleman called Mohan Das Pai. You know him? He was a CFO of Infosys. So when I met him, he was doing his chartered accountancy. He was just an ordinary guy like me. But then I knew there was something in him. Wow, he had some stuff in him, and I knew that one fine day this guy will go places. So the question that Warren Buffett asks is, if you were to invest on somebody, who would you invest? So similarly, the Magic Quadrant is used to understand how people are likely to behave. That is one thing. Then we discussed about PESTEL. PESTEL is, what are the parameters that are going to affect your business? You could have a political parameter that can kill you. You could have economy. The economy is going to DOGS today because of the pandemic. So whatever you do, the economy is not the right time. Which was that Citroen. Citroen is the car that just got introduced. Huh? Yeah. So their timing was very bad. Unfortunately, within 6 months, the pandemic came. So however great the car is, they're really not getting any traction on it. Social. What is it? However great it, if you have a social problem with that thing, I mean, you might, for example, how many of you know a place called Tonic near KCA Stadium? Lots of nodding heads. Okay. So that's a great place. But then do you want a tonic in your neighborhood? No. I mean, that's going to be a social disparity, and we don't want what is wine shops coming in our neighborhood. So there's a social parameter. Then technology. You may have been the greatest typist, if you know if you're a typist, eventually typewriters get whatever great product that may have been at one time, it gets replaced by technology. Environmental friendly. If your product is not environment friendly, you could get thrown out. And they're not doing legal business, of course, unless and until you are selling some joints, which is a different thing, right? So that is the one. We'll bring up two more parameters, which I told you I'll explain to you, is cost of acquisition of a customer or customer acquisition cost. What is customer acquisition cost? So what do they say? How much does it cost us to acquire a customer? Meaning, let's try to take some example. Okay, let's take the executive MBA program itself. So what did it cost? What did it cost the program to have him? What's your name? Huh? Cyril. What did it cost them to get Cyril to join the program? One, they had to spend on an advertising. They had to send him an email. They had to set up somebody in the office to talk to him. And then maybe initially we used to even do that, is that anybody wanted to attend a guest lecture. I mean, a potential candidate could even come and sit in the class of a previous thing. So that is what it costed. At the end of it, let's say it costed us 5,000 rupees. 5,000. So 5,000 is the cost of the of getting Cyril to join the course. Now, explaining it in a slightly better term, let's say how much does it cost to provide you a DTH connection? Forget all the advertising, forget all the thing, assuming that the advertising is for 100 million people, so you don't really consider the cost. How much does it cost? They have to go set up an antenna on your rooftop. They have to give you a set-top box. They have to send some engineer to work on it. And all of it will cost 5,000. But at 5,000 bucks, you don't want it because your local cable operator will just give you 200 bucks. So what do? They say that, sir, the whole 5,000 rupees, we will give it to you at 1,000. You just pay 1,000 and 4,000 rupees we'll absorb. So the cost of acquisition of a customer is 4,000 rupees. Now, what's your monthly billing cost? You might be doing, let's say, 100 rupees per month or 200 rupees per month is the subscription charges. So it takes how many months? It takes 20 months for that DTH company to recover what? The cost of acquisition of the customer. But in between, Cyril says, I don't like Tata Sky, I'm moving into Sun TV. So imagine the loss that they are going to encounter is that even though he stayed with them for 19 months, they never gained it. So that is what happens is that a lot of app companies, a lots of all kinds of companies, a lots of Ubers, a lots of Zomatos, they go on a huge advertising spend to acquire more and more customers. But the cost of acquisition of the customer is not calculated because the cost of acquisition of the customer is more than the money that they're going to make out of it. That is why most companies, most businesses go bad. They go huge advertising and boom, they are not able to. A good model is when you have very little acquisition cost and then you stay with them for a very, very, very long time. So that is what is called the cost of acquisition of a customer. Next is ARPU. What is ARPU? Average revenue per user. Have you heard this term? Anybody who has heard this term? Yeah. So what does it mean? Yes. Perfect, perfect. That means to say that let's look at Vivek and Cyril, for example. Now, Vivek works for a pharmaceutical company and he's making a lot of phone calls to all the WHO and all that stuff. So he is spending 5 to 10,000 rupees on his mobile bill. Now, Cyril is just chilling it out. He's not even making calls. He just give a missed call. He's a king of missed call philosophy. So he just gives a missed call. And so how much does he charge his phone for? He charges his phone for 200 rupees, whereas he's charging his phone for 10,000 rupees. Now, what is the average revenue? It's 10,000 rupees plus 200 rupees, 1,200 rupees divided by 2, which is about 600 rupees. Now, 600 rupees is the average of 2 people. Now we'll make that a million people and we'll now realize. Again, we arrive at a number. Let's say after 10,000 in India, the number is something like 250 rupees. That means typically an Indian mobile user charges for 250. Now, there are people, you're going to be my butt for this evening, that there are people like him who will only charge for 149. So should Airtel care for him? He is the one who will threaten me. Don't give me, I'll move to Jio. I'll move to Jio. So then they say, hey, go man, I don't want you because you are below my ARPU. Whereas if Vivek threatens to go, they say, no, hang on, Vivek, you are my Cree customer. So an ARPU is the average revenue that you get per user. And the intent of any company is to raise that ARPU or give a lot of love and affection to people who are above the ARPU and don't care for people who are below the ARPU. So that is one term that I want you to understand. I don't see many chats. So,
one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. So, like, should we try to reduce the average revenue per user? So,
No.
Shouldn't that be one of it?
I didn't quite understand.
No, like we were talking about focusing on.
Let me tell you what is the primary objective of any company. What is the primary objective of any company?
Increase revenue.
To make
profit.
More profit. That's the only
Maximization of profit.
Maximization of profit. Now, how can maximization of profit happen? Only when the average revenue per user keeps going up and up. Okay, so now the idea behind them is if they get a new guy to join Airtel, they say, okay, our ARPU is 249. You make it 350. I'll give you a $1 million as revenue bonus or something like that. So what is the target of everybody is to rise the ARPU level. So I hope you understand. Make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Professor, sorry, I did not get the concept of ARPU.
Okay. Okay. How do I tell you what is the ARPU meaning? Let me try another way of doing it. What's the other way that we can do it? Okay. When you walk into a restaurant, I'll give you, when you walk into a restaurant, especially, it's my personal experience that I'm a vegetarian guy, but once in a while, I end up going to a Andhra meal. Yeah, I love the Andhra meal and I actually love those powders which are there. So when I go there, the Andhra meal costs, on a good Sunday afternoon, if I go, I can eat well. It'll cost me 250 bucks. So they serve only meal. That Andhra outlet near my house serves only meals, nothing else. So I can't go there and have a breakfast. I can't go there and have an evening tea. So I walk in there. So 250 rupees. So what is the minimum business that the hotel can expect from one individual? 250. No, there's no doubt about it, right? 250. But when I sit there and order, and I'm sure all of you have experienced that, they'll come back and say, sir, any sides, sir? Sir, some chicken, sir, or some baby corn. What are they trying to do? They have invited you to the hotel by saying, Andhra meals for just 250. Wow, man. It's 400 rupees on MG Road and 550 on some other place. Yeah. And then it's just 250. Yeah, let me go there. But they'll be happy to welcome you at 250. But the joy that they get is when you order with this side, give me one soup, one cool drink, and okay, give an ice cream. Then they have achieved more. So the objective of any company, or in the case of ARPU, is that they know that I'll get this much. I'll get this much. But should I not get better? Should I not get other? If you look at the battle between Jio and Airtel, when Jio came, what they said? Free, 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 free. So everybody ran behind Jio. Then Airtel said, oh my God, what's happening? I have to somehow hold on to my customers. All my customers are going away. So what they said, okay, we'll also reduce the price. We'll also reduce it. First of all, they were bleeding. First of all, Airtel was bleeding. Reliance is not bleeding because they got oil to survive, things like that. And there it's a cost of a new service. Then finally they realized what is happening. Everybody who is staying with me are those guys who are, that gentleman who's sitting there. Those kind of guys. So then they said, okay, now anybody who is below ARPU, I don't want it. But yes, so but anybody who is above ARPU, I'll give him something special. So which one of you are Airtel customer, you would have noticed what is called Airtel Thanks. What is Airtel Thanks? Saying that thank you for staying with me. Thank you not for going with Jio. Now I'll give you this free. I'll give you this free and all that. So I hope I've been able to answer to you. Is an average revenue is the minimum that you expect from a guy walking in. It's that plate meals, and you want to get more than that. I hope the Andhra meal has given you an idea.
Yes, Professor.
Too early for lunch, of course. Right? Okay. Then what do we have? On the meal or on the subject? Yeah. Yeah. Geo? In terms of? Which was? What do you think? No, what do you think? So what did they do? So what was the, okay, I mean, this is, we'll do 5-minute, move away from the topic because you've asked it. When you start a company, you have X amount of money for setting up the installations. You have Y amount of money for marketing cost. That Y amount of money is very huge because you're a startup. Or like Jio was also a startup. Maybe they came from another organization. But every month, the marketing cost will reduce because you already known. And who is your best marketer? Who is the best marketer for you? Satisfied customer. So every month you want to take care of your customers, but not marketing. So in this case, what happened with Reliance was, Reliance said, we'll give 6 months free so that everybody will come to me. But you see, it's not very easy for people to come there. Why? Because my Aadhaar is connected to my phone number. Maybe my gas is connected to my phone numbers and lots of OTPs. I don't want to switch without being 100% sure that the service is good. So if you remember the first time when Jio came, lots of guys took up Jio connection, but you ask him, what is your phone number? He doesn't. Right? Service was very bad, but because it was free and you were getting free broadband, nobody knew what is their number. Nobody knew what is their number. Now when they started stabilizing, so that is what they were very smart move to acquire customer. They acquired 100 customers in the first 6 months. Over the next 6 months, they must have lost about 20, but still they retained about an 80. And where did that 80 come from? The 80 were not new customers. Remember, India is a country where there's almost 100% phone, right? Is there anybody here who doesn't have a mobile phone? I mean, is there anybody here who does not have 2 SIM cards? Most of us, right? I mean, most of us are having 2 SIM cards. So that is what is the idea. Okay. Now we talked about SWOT. Now we talked about PESTEL. And then we talked about CAC. And then we'll say what happens in our lives. As in our lives, and meaning lives of a company. There are 2 things which can affect a company's performance. There are the macro environment and micro environment. What is a macro environment? Example of a macro. Read the slide. Yeah. Or more example, the effect of the pandemic on the company. Could they have controlled the pandemic? Could they have done something to it? Could they have relocated their factory? Nothing, right? Parameters which are outside of their control. Parameters which affect globally all businesses. All similar businesses are called macro environment, which is a political decision. Tomorrow, let's say something happens to this government, and the next coming government is a very shaky government. What will happen to the Indian economy? Indian economy will start shaking. Whose problem is it? It's a problem which is beyond ours. So that's a macro problem. A new technology coming and wiping out auto rickshaws. Nowadays, there was a time when you would wait and beg the auto rickshaw guy, Bhartia, Malleshwaram. Definitely 9 out of 10, he wouldn't come to Malleshwaram. But so that's why we say Malleshwaram and then or whatever that is, right? So now Uber Auto, Ola Auto. So I wouldn't care for him. But could he have done anything better? No. It was technology which came and shook him up. That's a macro factor. But the micro factor are those factors that affect you only you as a company, only you as a person. That means that your employees are not working hard. Is it somebody else's problem? It's your problem. Your supplier is not doing a proper delivery. Is it somebody else's problem? No, that's your problem. Or your competitor is killing you. It's still your problem. You have to wake up to it. So there are 2 kinds of environments, the macro and the micro. The government comes up with a new budget. It's a micro or a macro? Macro. You are not giving bonus to your employees and hence they are not working hard. What is it? It's a micro?
Micro.
So, yeah, micro, right? So these are 2 points that I wanted to tell you guys about. Then, of course, okay, I think I missed that slide, or it doesn't matter. So that's where we are. And now, okay, so we did this, the business vision statement, objective, SWOT analysis, target market strategy. We'll kind of do it later. But now we're going to focus on these 4 P's: product, price, promotion, and place. Now, if you attended my first class, I told you that the world has changed from a world that was about 100 years back. PPP is an old concept. Okay, it's my product. It's the company's price. It's I will promote my product and I will sell it in my outlet, right? That was the way the world was before. My. But no longer does it work because there is competition. If you don't please the customer will go elsewhere, right? Earlier, there was no choice. There was no other customer. You were the only supplier, right? You were the only supplier. There's only one BSNL. So then imagine for BSNL, how do you go and book for a BSNL phone line? You go to the BSNL office. If BSNL changes its tariff, do you have a choice? No. If that product works 7 days out of a month, do you have a choice? No. It was because they were the only guys. Oh, I remember. Anyway, that will. So that is what was the idea of the 4P. The 4Ps are now kind of very old. That is why if you see a Google form that I was testing yesterday, I said the 4Ps is actually a 4Cs is what that form is about. So it says to a large extent, they didn't care for the consumer. They didn't really care for the consumer. So there was a time when there was no Maruti, there was no Hyundai, there was only Ambassador and Premier Padmini. And I had a Premier Padmini car with me. And I had a Premier Padmini car with me. Oh, life was very tough. Life was very tough. It's because whether I have a water to drink for me or not, I must have water for the radiator. Okay. And every time I park my car at the signal light, I have to switch off the lights because the electrical system was very bad. And every day, twice in the morning, before going to office, and from the office, I had to open my bonnet, check if the water is all right. And oh my God, it was a very, very tense drive. And one fine day, I switched to a Maruti. It was heaven. I had to, my service engineer said, sir, once in a while, please open your bonnet and clean it. So that was the other extreme. Why am I saying it? Is because Padmini did not bother. Premier or Fiat didn't bother because they were the only suppliers. Now, when competition came, the customer says, sorry, I'll never buy another Fiat car in my life. So that is what happens. So they didn't view the customers. Okay. Now, the 4Cs got replaced, the 4Ps got replaced by the 4Cs. The product is no longer important. That's why I told you the meaning of the word marketing is value. If it doesn't mean value to you, why would we anyway buy it? Price is not important. Hey, buy this. It's a fine painting. It's a fine painting. I've never been to painting classes. This is my first painting, $10,000. Who will buy it? It may be your first painting, but there's a stupid painting. So why would we buy it? So if what is price is actually cost to me. What is place is convenience. What is place is convenience. Okay. And of course, promotion is what you're saying, but the message must come to the customer, right? I remember price versus cost. I'll give you one example is that during the pandemic, I was a bit worried of what's going to happen. So I had a one small house about 3 kilometers from my place, which I had let it out and I got that vacated so that a work from home is a painful thing, right? You know, if you all kinds of noises. And so I thought I'll work from there. So at that place, the cost of ironing a shirt used to be $6. Whereas at near my place, it's almost $15. So I would go all the way there and give my clothes for ironing. And at that time, I had more clothes for ironing because my son was also with me at that time. So now it's a huge cost benefit to me. But now my son is no longer, he's gone to another place. Now, just for a few clothes and just to save a few tens of rupees, would I go all the way there? No, it's convenience which matters. So while cost may be a parameter, convenience is also a very important parameter. And normally, when I give you a case study to do and work on it, the tendency is to believe that price is the most important of all the 4Ps. You believe that if I can sell a idli 2 rupees cheaper, hundreds of people will line up. If we could reduce the cost of our product in our organization by a little, the people will keep running behind us. Is a wrong concept. Price is actually a very, very dangerous of the 4Ps to work on it. Because once you reduce the price, nobody's going to allow you to come back. There was a time, there was a time when not Amazon, but one of those similar companies, they noticed something very unique. What did they notice? That people like, what's your name? Tara. People like Tara would go to the that website, do a lot of shopping on the thing, fill up her cart, and finally change her mind. How many times have we done that? Millions of times we have done that, right? And then feel proud of ourselves. The best thing that we have done is to abandon the cart. Abandon the cart. So these guys, these smart coders who are sitting there in the company said, Tara abandoned her cart. Vivek abandoned his cart. It'll take me a while for all other names to sink in. So then I'll be more open in my talking to you, each of you. There is Preeti Nair that I remember one name. Hi, Preeti, how are you? So they said, they are all abandoning their carts. Why don't we do something about it? So they said, it's a brilliant idea. Send a message to Tara saying that, hey, Tara, that pair of jeans that you just abandoned on the cart, it's a 30% discount. Come on that now. Go ahead and buy it. Of course, she's going to rush and buy it because she actually needs it. And 30% is an excuse for her to pick it up. Now Tara goes and tells Vivek, hey, Vivek, actually, I abandoned the cart and I got a 30%. Now, Vivek, that's a reality. I'm creating like a story, but that's a reality of what happened. So Vivek will load the cart and abandon it. And then he'll wait for a day. The mail from that company. Oh, okay, Vivek, your abandoned cart has 30%. So you see now what's happening is that just because you reduce the price for the product to have, you have dug yourself deeper in the mess that you are. So that's why price is great as a 4P, but it's a very, very delicate topic to discuss. Okay. Yeah, guys, online, any questions?
No, Professor, it's clear.
No, Professor.
No, Professor.
Did I tell you guys that I note down the ones who ask questions? So it's mandatory that each one of you ask a question. Okay.
Okay,
So,
Professor.
Yeah, sure.
okay. So what is the product? Product are features which come into it. An example of a product. Laptop is a product. Okay. Anything else which could be a product? Mobile phone is a product.
Any goods or service we consume.
Any
Any goods or service we consume. Can be anything.
service. Service. What do you mean by service?
Like a mobile network connection.
That's where's the product? Where's the physical product?
It's not
Huh?
Prashant here. Actually, it's not necessary that it should be a physical product.
Yeah, who? What's your name?
Prashant here.
Yeah, very good, very good. I'm just pushing you to defend yourself, nothing else. Okay, perfect. A product doesn't have to be a physical thing. A product could just be a service. A product could be just an advice from a legal point. A product is a doctor telling you how to take care of your health. A product is a half an hour conversation between me to you. Yes.
Life insurance is a product.
Life insurance is a product. Yeah, correct. But then there is okay. So then place is where it is sold. Then price, we discuss pricing, discount, premium, and promotion. Okay, great. There's no questions on this. But remember, the entire conversation of the syllabus is about 4 P's. But remember, we are heading towards 4 C's. So while there is a lot of usage of the word 4 P's, because in the education industry, change is very slow. Change is very slow. It will probably take another 10 years before actually a publication comes out and says 4 C's and doesn't mention the 4 P's. So while we are talking about 4 P's, I will make it a point to give you a C angle to the conversation. So what's a product? Perfectly, as you said, there's a tangible, the one that you can hold and feel, and one which you cannot even feel. That's the thing. So a service is intangible, but it's something we still deliver to you, right? For example, salt could be a tangible thing. A visit to a doctor, I mean, exactly what we said, is a pure service, and a restaurant has a combination of the two, right? Food is good, services sucks, or whatever that is, right? So it's a combination of all of them. A service plus what is it? A tangible, non-tangible, a service and a product. I think there's nothing to ask in that. Now look at this. These are products. Beyond doubt, these are products. What is this? This is a mosquito repellent. It's a product. It's a physical thing. And Netflix, there's no product, but still it's a service, right? I mean, you enjoy a good movie, and what's an interesting movie on Netflix of late? Which one? Money Heist is good, huh? And what's on Amazon? What's on Amazon?
Inside Edge.
Which one?
There is a series, Inside Edge.
Yeah, I know. They're saying, but I'm trying to get more people to wake up to an interesting conversation. Okay, good. So that's Netflix. And of course, as a restaurant we just described is a combination of both of them, right? A good service and a good food, and a good provider or a good price eventually, right? You want all of them. We are now going to discuss price in depth in our class, because I've noticed that you can choose marketing or branding as a specialization. So I'll not touch upon that. Product is something that we cannot touch because that's the thing that comes to you. And promotion or place is distribution, and supply chain management could be one level of specialization that you can do in your earlier semesters. So I'm only going to briefly talk about place and promotion. I'll emphasize on product and emphasize on price in the subsequent class. Okay, so this is what it is. Now, in a service element, now listen to me carefully. In a service element, and most of us are working in a service, knowingly or unknowingly. If we are a developer of any product, if we are an app developer, or we are a HR in any organization, we are all still doing a service activity. So a service activity has three elements to it: the company, the consumer, and the employee. Because in a manufacturing setup, the employee may be a little bit trivial. As long as the product is very good, then I can just manage to sell it with disgruntled employees. Like Nike, there is no post-sale service. That is why Nike employed child labor in Bangladesh and other places to produce the product, because once the product is out, there is no further interaction between the employees as such. But in a service organization, it's very important that all three people are considered properly. You have an external marketing that is happening. The company is telling the customers that you come to us, you take my service, you take our software, we will give you great product. That's the communication that's happening. And the company also has to communicate to the employees, saying that, hey guys, unless and until we come out with a good product, unless and until you support the product, unless and until you service the client, we could be in big trouble. So there are three elements of marketing here. One is the external marketing that happens between the company and the consumer. One is the internal that is happening between the employees and the company. why we should care for our customers, and eventually the employees will interact with the marketing, with the company, right? You could go offshore, you could have an offshore placement, and then you will end up working with the company or working with the customer. So your interaction is very good. So make sure that you've understood this triangle very well. If you have any questions, I can explain. Now, a product has
Professor, please explain the interaction.
where do you work?
Sorry,
Where are you employed? Where do you work?
TCS.
TCS is the most brilliant example for the previous slide. What are you working on?
As a IT analyst.
As an IT?
Analyst.
As in, what do you do? What is an IT analyst?
We are working on Linux server.
Yeah,
We do
working on it. So who is your customer?
Our customer is Cisco.
Your
Server.
customer is Cisco. Okay, and who is your employer?
TCS.
Okay, and who is given the contract to? The contract is between whom and whom?
Between TCS and Cisco.
That contract is between TCS and Cisco. TCS is the company, Cisco is the customer. And
Yes.
what's your name?
Prashant.
Prashant.
I'm an employee.
Yeah,
We
so
are-
you are the employee. Now, how did TCS get the contract? TCS went and told Cisco, we are the greatest guys on the face of the earth. Please give us the business. We've already done work for Accenture. We've done work for General Electric. We've done work for XYZ. They're
Yes.
very happy with us. That's the external marketing they have done with the customer, and they're going to do that.
Yes.
Then the company comes and talks to you and say, hey, listen, we've assigned you for the Cisco project. Better do well. Huh? Its internal marketing can also be a threat. Remember, you don't do well, you don't please that customer, I'm pulling you out. Okay, marketing needn't always be nice, rose and flowers also. It can also be on the back. Okay. So that is internal marketing. You say do well, make sure you do well. And especially if you guys are posted outside of the country, they say that not only is your job to keep this existing contract alive, but this should give us more contracts so that you continue to stay there. Otherwise, at the end of 3 years or 2 years, they pull you back. So now there's external marketing between TCS and Cisco. There's internal marketing between TCS and you. And it's your responsibility to have an interactive marketing relationship between Cisco to say that, hey, listen, guys, we will work long hours. Don't worry. If I may go on a holiday, we have my colleagues out there, do anything. Our Saturdays, we work on Saturdays. We don't have any. Christmas is not a big event here. Right. So did you understand?
Yes, got it.
Perfect. Will you work harder?
Yeah, we are doing it, sir.
Good. So now you will do interactive marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, go ahead. Ask me questions, because if you don't ask questions, I even skip slides. Okay. So what are the levels of a product? The levels of a product is, there's a core product. Of course, you can read all of this. The effect is that what does a customer want? Eventually, if you look at it, look at any product. For example, I want some water. I want some water to drink. What's the core product? I want water. That's it. I want water.
Water.
Now, the basic thing is I want clean water. That's the point number 2. I want clean water. Okay. The expected water is, if you can give me RO, it will be very nice. Okay. It will be very nice if you give me RO water. But then augmented product is, well, don't give me in a nice refrigerated water. That will be even better. And actually, finally, when you give me the water, Tara, would be that you say, Ramesh, you drink this, 6 months later, your energy levels will go up. So that's the other potential capability of the product that it is. With everything in life, it is the same thing, right? There is a basic product. You go looking for you go look for a car, and then you say, oh, if I get a same car with a 6-seater, excellent, air conditioned, built, brilliant. But then if that has got, what is that called? Blue link or whatever that is. Yeah, what are we trying to say? Yeah, airbags. Airbags comes under where? According to you, is airbags augmented, basic, or expected or core? What is that? Depends. I expect it to be a core product. No. What I mean to say is our expectations could be different. All of us come up with a different expectation. For you and me, we said, oh yeah, why would I want an airbag? After all, max I drive is from Jayanagar to half of Electronic City. I don't want a airbag. But I am the guy who's driving long distances every day. That product could come out here. So each of us could have a different positioning of what it is. So this is what is the levels of a product. Yes, of course. Yeah, depends on, yeah, very true, very true. I'm hesitating to give you a very clear answer because I might end up into another topic, but I'll tell you anyway, having said that, depends on who your customer is. This guy's idea of a car is 6 lakhs. Your idea of a car is 18 lakhs. A basic car should cost 6 lakhs, according to him. A basic car should cost 18 lakhs, according to him. So what is his core product? A product which takes me from place A to place B. Yours is not that. A product which takes me from place A to place B safely and pleasurably. So he said, AC hai, to expected hai. You say AC is not there, I'm not even considering it. I'm avoiding a term called segmentation because we will be talking segmentation in the subsequent class. So it's all about a question of a product, what it is. Must be, yeah. So that is how you will start doing it very differently, right? Yeah. Yeah, so the core varies from product to product. Okay. Any other questions? Which one? Absolutely. So what a perfect example. I mean, to those of you who didn't hear what he said the government of India has come up with a policy, or any government for that matter, come up with a policy that airbags are compulsory. That's what he said. The second thing that he said was daylight riding lights. Daylight riding a DRL or daylight riding lights is compulsory. That means light should be on. So now, what's probably become an expected product has dropped down to be a basic, to a core product. Not by the customer's desire, but by an act of pestle. What is pestle? Political and okay, so you get it. So now tomorrow, if you don't give it, I don't pick it up. Right? As simple as that. If they don't have those things, for example, there are lots of two-wheelers. I mean, there are a lot of electric companies which will say, I'll convert your two-wheeler into electric thing. But does it have a government approval? No, sir, we don't have government approval. We just change it. So we don't want it, right? If you drive a modified two-wheeler to an electric two-wheeler, and you meet with an accident, and if that is not approved by Automobile Regulatory Authority of India, then your insurance is not valid. Something happens to you, you won't get. So there's a question of core product versus the thing, right? Yeah. So these are the levels of core products that you have. Core, a bundle of benefits that is delivered to the customer at the time of purchase. Basic, yeah, color, whatever it is, that was you're going to be, say, brand, shape. You all could have your own basic expectations of what is going to be the one. So there could be no difference between a Vivo phone and a MI phone. It could have, virtually there is no difference between any Android phone, right? It's only the touch and feel. Inside it's all Android anyway. So, but then you feel that a OnePlus is better than MI, but it's just your feeling of the brand. Your feeling of the brand, saying that the shape, product, that expected elements. What do you expect? We've discussed all of that. Augmented, when this is where the key difference happens. This is where the key difference happens, is that this is the competition killer, or the competition will kill you. This is the difference that people look at. And potential, possible future augmentations. Sir, please buy an Innova, don't buy an Alto, your family size will grow. Well, that's an augmented potential, saying that you will have more children and hence you want to have a thing. That's the future potential. Or buy an Alexa today. You don't know what Alexa would do. But earlier, I've been having the Alexa for almost 3 years or 4 years. First, when I bought it, the guy wouldn't understand my English, or she wouldn't understand my English, or none of my songs she would be able to play. I had a neighbor who'd come to my house and he'll say, Alexa, what's your name? That's the only thing he would do. And that was the thing we also enjoyed, because he'd say, sorry, I don't understand. That's the, so the guy, his parents would come and tell me, what did you do with this product? Why did you buy it? I said, no, I am crazy for this kind of thing. But now it's changed a lot. It's changed quite a bit now. Now it does a lots of things, right? It does a lot. It tells me when my next Amazon shipment is coming. It's become very smart. They've been able to. So what happened? I got Alexa at probably 1,000 rupees, something like that. But then, so I bought it. One is because of this. I was sure that this guy comes out with it, will come out with something very, very smart. And do you know, incidentally, there's a historical link on the guys who created the Alexa. One of the things that Jeff Bezos realized was the whole world is only divided into iOS and Android. So he said, it's time for me to come up with a third option. And truly we need a third option, because that's why it's a very, very, polarized world now. So he came up with what's called the Fire, right? The Fire phone. Not phone. It was called Fire. Yeah, they came up with a Fire. Now, that was an alternate, the third OS that he wanted for the mobile. And he tried to sell it. The Kindle did well, incidentally. The Kindle did well. There was no product like Kindle before that. But then this didn't work. And eventually he had to abandon it. And one day he called the entire team of that Fire phone to his office, and they knew what's going to happen. They were 100% sure that the entire team is going to be sacked. So he called them to the office and said, hey guys, you guys did well. It just that it didn't work. But I trust you guys. And I'm sure if I give you confidence and I give you time, you will come up with the next product, which would be a killer. And it was exactly the same team given 12 or 24 months or 36 months to come up with a product, and they came up with the Alexa. So that was the history behind it. So these are the levels of a product. Any questions on that? This was my earlier slide. I just changed most of my slides just a couple of days back. So this is there. Okay. No. Okay. One thing that I missed. What is this? It's a product. What is this? So what's the difference between the two? What's the impact that the product is going to create is going to be greater in the Audi. It can kill 100,000 Pakistanis. So you can, if it does. No, but on a serious note, let's see how many of you are awake. On a serious note, who buys what? Huh? Customer is? Okay, point number one. Point number two. Can you buy a tractor? I mean, tank tomorrow? No. So who buys what? Can you redefine that answer? Can you redefine that? Huh? Okay, so now redefine that. Or may redefine that. Okay. Yeah, guys, are you listening to my question? And I hopefully one of you will come up with the answer. I said the mosquito repellent is a product, and so is the Audi tank. One thing I want out of you guys, I won't even swear, is that at the end of your 18 months, your language has to change. The use of what do you call it? You should start using jargons and terms. That's something that you have to promise. Jargons is ARPU, is a jargon. Terms, this one. I'm going to write two things. I mean, now you should be able to say. Now tell me, what is a mosquito repellent? What is the difference between mosquito repellent as a product and the Audi tank? Mosquito repellent is a B2C user, whereas it's a B2B user. Correct? Understood? No dispute? So yeah. Okay. Though a Pakistani could be as trivial as a mosquito. Okay. But so the point number one. Point number two, which is even more important, is this could be a 1990 version of the product. Whereas the mosquito repellent goes constant change. You will have a perfumed mosquito repellent, a smoky mosquito repellent, and the new version has got auto AI built in. It can sense the number of mosquitoes, male, female, and children, and it does that. Correct? So the point is, the point I'm trying to do, a B2C market, the development cycle is very fast. Whereas in a B2B cycle, development cycle is very slow or very low. We might still be having it. So because the cost of a development, they might come up with a product, it may fail, they just throw it away, come up with something else. So a B2C market is highly competitive. Lots and lots of changes are required. Otherwise, you cannot survive in the market. So that is the point that I was trying to say. If I don't get questions from the online students, I'll have to pick you up and ask you. That could be tough, right? Where am I? Place. Oh, there was supposed to be a question. Maybe I have pulled up a different one. Okay. So we are done with the, what's the time? 10:45, right? Yeah, we'll do about 11:10 and then we'll take a break. Place. So what is the other place? What does place mean? Where this product is available. Where this product is available, right? All activities, which is distribution of the system. Let's see if we can look at this. So we know all these products, right? We virtually know all of them. So where can you buy a Sunfeast biscuit?
Normal retailer shop.
Any eatable place would be able to buy it out. So if you are selling Sunfeast, if you've been Mr. Bhadravati, right? Yeah, he comes from Bhadravati, so I know that. So if you are going to work for Sunfeast, where would you want to sell your? The product should be as close to the consumer. That's the point number one. Correct? That's perfect. Now, what is this? Sony. So now, where would you want to, if you work for Sony? I'm going to make you switch jobs in every 1 minute. Okay. So if you work for Sony, where would you want to sell this product? A shopping center. Electronic? Where the crowd is more. Where the crowd is more. In the middle of a football match. No, I'm just pushing
In
you.
Amazon and
I would go online and retail, sir.
Electronic
Okay, so
showroom.
name a store. Okay, maybe have a store which is in a mall. Okay, anything else?
electronic full platform.
Electronic goods.
As well, online.
Online. Okay, very good. I come from Chick-fil-A. Okay, what about the Kia car? Showroom.
Car
Okay.
showroom.
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 Would you want, which of these will have more outlets, this or this?
The cool
TV
drinks and
will have
snacks.
more outlets than the, okay, before I go there, I'm going to
Consumer.
stick on to it because one slide will complete the entire chapter on place. And then of course I'll go with the detail. Okay. This shopkeeper that you wanted to sell, who wanted to sell? Very closest to consumer. What kind of what are you expecting from him? Should he be a graduate? Should he be a science student? Should he know the combination of products that go into making the biscuit? No. He should not be hungry. He should be a least hungry guy. Otherwise, he'll eat all your biscuits. So what do you expect out of the place? The only thing that you expect out of the place is convenience to close to the customer, correct? Here, will you do a little more research on who is distributing your product? What do you want? The guy should be able to explain. No, I'm talking about the place, not the consumer. Please. Consumer is not important for us today. So the C is not important. It's only the P when we are internal discussions in the company. The company, we are not worried. So the place, this guy, what do you want him to be? He should be able to explain the features, compare it with the competition, and he should be more knowledgeable. Correct? What else you want him to know? Start thinking. Stop. Start thinking. Take a deep breath. By default, I'm going to reposition you guys after the lunch break. Okay, same guys can't sit next to each other on the same seat. So what else you want him to know?
Sir, he can display the product in a specific way within his shop.
Okay, and what else? Yeah, and what happens when you go and buy the TV? What happens? When you buy the TV, he should be
They
able
provide
to,
installation.
is to provide installation. Second, he should be able to, before deliver, he should be able to stock it for you. Sir,
Correct.
order kodi taristivi. Will you, then who will go and buy that product, right? Who will go and buy that product? So that's one. What about this guy?
And also educate him about the product. sir.
Also educate him about the plan, the features and all that.
Yes.
What about the car distributor?
Test drive.
You should be able to, yeah, he should have by default, every distributor should have a driving license, right? That's a fundamental thing. Second thing, what else does he do? Think carefully, think carefully. I'll give you an example. This guy is a 6 lakh rupee car guy. You're an 18 lakh rupee car guy. He is the distributor for Mercedes Benz. This guy walks into the shop. What is he expected to do?
He's going to sell.
If the car is
No, no,
worth,
hang on,
the
hang
car
on,
gives the
hang on.
customer.
Mr. A wants a car for 6 lakhs. I didn't mention your name in public, okay? Okay. Mr. B for Bhadravati wants a car for 50 lakhs. And your name I forgot. Soumya Nandan. Okay. Soumya Ranjan. Okay. He is the distributor or the dealer for BMW. Now this guy, Mr. A, walks into his showroom. What is he expected to do? Deny. But how do you know him?
But he will probe him for the what he needs.
So what am I as Mr. BMW expect the BMW dealer to do?
He will probe and
Promote his
understand the
brand.
needs of.
Evaluate the customer, whether this customer is worth a test ride itself. Point number one, evaluate the customer. You must have the knowledge of what this customer does. And you wanted a 50 lakh rupee car. The BMW cost how much? 76? Okay. So what does he do now? For 50 lakhs is his budget. And the car costs 76. What should he be able to do? Persuade is one thing. Possibly give him financing options, right? Isn't it yes or no? Providing financing options. So there you go. As you are going down the P, or the P meaning the place, or the promotion of the place, you see you're qualifying what that place is going to be. Now, Phone Pay and Paytm, where will they sell their products? They have just two options. They have to sell it over an iOS channel or on an Android channel. They have a very limited thing. So they are stuck on that. They're stuck. They have nowhere else can they go and do it. Nowhere can you complete the download of a Paytm or a Google Pay or anybody else if you don't have these two. So these two are at the mercy of these two. Now they are at the mercy of the place. And if they misbehave with them, they can throw them out and they could be out of business. Now, how many of you know Amway, Tupperware? Everybody knows. Now, where are they sold? Yeah, okay, but mostly where are
Online.
they sold?
They are MLM,
M and M?
MLM, multi-level marketing. They sell
Okay,
only,
so where are they sold?
so only in their stores. We will not get it anywhere.
Okay, so what is the qualification for the product? For the place?
It can even be somebody's home, because like, if I'm able to buy a box of
Perfect,
keep it at home.
perfect. So you have all your answers.
It's of chain business.
Absolutely. So what happens is that we can sell it to any guy as long as he's close to it.
Yeah.
We have to sell it to a place where he's specialist.
business to
In
consumer.
standard television. This guy, I've told you many options, right? And this, of course, a ladies' kitty party is the ideal place for it, because not only do they chat, they also feel the product. There's somebody else who's a user of the product who's selling it, and business happens, right? The consumer becomes the seller. You understand the difference? What is happening here? The seller is holding you by your, and that is what is happening. Whereas in this case, the consumer is selling your product. It's somebody like I said, hey, listen, you must buy this Tupperware masala box or whatever, because I have been using it. Social connect that is happening. The last one, which I actually jumped here, is the Rafale aircraft or a complicated electronic equipment. How do you, what is the place?
G2G, sir.
G to G or B to G, not G to
Both.
B to G. Business to government.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a place. I go to his place to sell. I go to DRDO, I go to ISRO to sell the product. Huh? Those are promotion. We are talking about the place. That's the next P when you come to that. So I hope you guys understand the difference between all the two. I used to work for a product, had only 3 customers in all over India and only 7 customers all over Asia. Now for that, we cannot have a distributor. We cannot have it. There were only 7 people who could buy those products, but if all the 7 didn't buy that year, I'm dead. So that is what it is. So you have more complex the equipment. There's no way that I can train somebody. I cannot have a kitty party and sell a Rafale. Right. I mean, I was not selling Rafale, by the way, just as an example. So the point is low level of intelligence, absolute level of intelligence on your own product, and hence the complexity on the place. So you guys understood everything in this one particular slide that we can even skip on to it. Same thing, mom and pop shop, whatever that you guys said, all of it in one slide. I used to have this as an example earlier. I mean, I put up this slide even 2 days back, is that I used to always love this example, but I thought of deleting this slide, but then thought, let me keep it up. You know, earlier, if you had to go and apply for a visa in the US, it's not like now, not like now. You had to go stand in the queue in Chennai. You had to go stand at morning 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And for all you know, you have to sleep overnight so that you go and get yourself a slot. So at that time, I remember is that when we were there, one of those guys came and said, hey, do you have a DD ready? What DD? He says, no, you have to submit one DD to US Embassy for some 750 rupees and all that. Oh, DD Ilya. So, but at 6 a.m., what 7 a.m., what DD would I have? Only DD I knew was Doordarshan. So then what to do? But this guy had the answer. I have the DD. Do you want it? Of course I want it. How much is it? 750 rupees. How much you have to pay? 2,000. So the only way he could sell it, because he was at a place which was, I was desperate. If I got out of that to go to a State Bank of India to buy a DD, I lose the place. So I was just saying that how place can drive it. And of course, you know, the most brilliant example of place is that you go to a movie theater and the popcorn there costs 85 rupees. And you know, 5 rupees you can eat and throw half. But you have no choice, right? That is what is the. Huh? Yeah, obviously. That is exactly where we want to do it. Okay. So we're done. I was supposed to be having a. Okay, I actually have it. Can you guys, we take a break now. And on my WhatsApp, I have sent you a link for a Google form. Can one of you online pick up that WhatsApp message and post it on the chat, please? I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Can one of you paste it? I want you to fill up those 2 forms. But I don't think you can fill it up without. Yeah. But you cannot do it without. Okay. Okay, do one thing. Don't bother. I'll give it to you as a homework to do it after we are done with it. So now take a 15-minute break. Once we come back, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Once we come back, we'll do promotion, which is the other P. We'll briefly discuss price, and then we will switch to STP, meaning segmentation, targeting, and position. That's what will be done. Okay, before we go, I need 2 questions from the guys online. And then only the class is considered.
Hi, Professor.
Yes, go ahead.
Professor, I have a question. My question is, OnePlus and Oppo are from same parent company. So, but why they have named it differently? Like OnePlus and Oppo, they both are like different names, right? So, is it part of market strategy, or what is the motto behind that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
they're not same, I guess, right?
No, assuming they're the same. Fair enough. They might have the same parent company. For example, I know I would like to, your question is brilliant, but I'll also give you another example. Myntra is bought by Flipkart. So why didn't Flipkart name it as Myntra? I mean, why does Flipkart continue to name it as Myntra and not merge it with the thing? That's one example. The second example is Maruti Suzuki is no longer Maruti Suzuki. It's actually almost Suzuki. The element of Indian ownership in that entity is very small. It's probably 98% Suzuki. And by the way, there's no Suzuki because Suzuki has been bought over by Toyota. So, but still, the question to her is, why is it that they are having it? It's because it's a brand perception. It's a brand perception. It takes a very, very long time for that brand to shake that image out of a person's mind. The brand perception is very high. And for all you know, there was a period of time when Ola picked up a company called Taxi for Sure. I don't know how many of you know it, Taxi for Sure. And they ran it as Taxi for Sure for a long time because there was a general perception that Taxi for Sure drivers were nicer. But there's nothing like that. They were all the same thing. So you have to maintain that brand. You have to maintain that brand so that there is a certain amount of feeling that maybe this is different from the other one. That is the reason. I hope that is explained to you. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, one more. And one more, and one from the group here. You guys want to talk with all of you and come up with a question? I don't mind. The question could also be, when do we break? Okay, so one more from the chat group here. Anybody else? Okay, or I'll have to wake you up. Sorry, I'm a tough guy. Bindu, are you there? MSR, Nagaraju, Papal Naha, Saranya. What do I assume?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sanjay here.
Yes, please.
So, I just want to ask a question regarding that. So, in the online world, it's a same web platform, but how a company can make differentiate from his competitor? Because it's a web platform everywhere.
Yeah. So what happens? Right now we are discussing place. So right now we are saying that two of you are selling on the same place. For example, Amazon and which is the other one? Flipkart or Walmart. They're all selling on the same thing. So now that, assuming it's the same product, assuming it's a mobile phone or a pack of biscuits. So now the question is, his question is very nice, is that it's a packet of biscuits, no differentiation of the product. Both of them are going to be ordered online. So now what happens next? That's his question. So what happens next is what is called the promotion, and we will discuss it just right after the break. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Any guys here? No?
Sir, this is Papal here.
Yes.
Hi, sir. Sir, wanted to know one thing. Like, if a company acquires another one, say suppose what we are discussing about Flipkart and Myntra. So does when Flipkart acquires Myntra, does their marketing functions is also being changed, or they maintain the same? Because Myntra will have a their customer base. So does Flipkart change that, or they will follow that only as after acquisition? I think if I'm clear.
Okay, good. Excellent. Good question. I was just driving to college and I noticed one thing is that answering perfectly your question is there are lots of these private gyms. A lot of these. There's one near my house called High Club, and there's something else called Platinum Bodies. There's something else called by hundreds of names, right? There are hundreds of private gyms. And then there is this universal gym called CureFit. CureFit is one brand which is virtually all over India. And recently, who took over CureFit?
Is it Virat?
Virat, I think. Tata. So Tata took over CureFit. And so now CureFit has got a lot of money because the gym industry was the one which struggled the most because of the pandemic. You know, we sweat and then there's closed environment. So nobody wants to go there, right? I mean, that's the swimming pools and these were the most affected. But one thing that I noticed of late, so one is, of course, CureFit was closing down. Tata picks it up, revives it. CureFit by itself was very, 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 very deep pocketed. They had no problem. Who was the guy who started CureFit? Oh, I meant CultFit, obviously. I mean, sorry, correcting me on that CultFit. Okay.
So yeah, Ritik, I think.
Ritik Roshan didn't start it. He is the promotion for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys, okay, from next week onwards, all of you have to come and give me one piece of information. Whoever, there's best chance for you not to come to classroom is that all of you have to give me one news item that, or business news item that you read. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so back to it. So now back to your question. His question was, when a company picks up another company, do they change the marketing game or do they retain the marketing game? So now in this case, PureFit is now picking up all those small private gyms because those private gyms are closing. Now what are they doing? They're obviously changing the marketing game. They're obviously changing the marketing game because those guys are not able to sell and these guys have the deep pocket into it. So yes, answer to your question is Cult Fit picks up those small gyms all over the, or small individual gyms, changes their marketing plan and aligns it with the cult.fit marketing plan. Perfect. But now Tata picked up cult.fit. Is Tata going to change the marketing plan of cult.fit? No. Tata picked up cult.fit because they had an excellent marketing plan. And now, by pumping in more money into cult.fit, they can make it even more better. So there you have two examples of a successful thing. It needs money, so they don't touch it. Another one, these guys are dead. They don't know how to promote their product, and then they do it. Okay, makes sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Clearly understood.
good. So now go ahead, take up how many minutes? 11:30, we'll be back. 11:30, we have only 1 hour to complete a lot of portion. We're going to, let me take a 10-minute break. 11:25. I won't even step out of here. See you exactly in 10 minutes. And you can bring your coffee. Okay, let's start. Back to resume share. And oh, there's going to be a long silence in the recording. How come this is showing different? Ah, okay. Okay, good. So, so we discussed product. Then we discussed what's the other thing we discussed? Place, and then that's it. Only two so far. Oh my God, we're going very slow. So the other thing is promotion. What is promotion? Promotion is the way you make your product known to somebody else. So that is the act of promotion. Do you want me to wait for them, or should we wait? Another minute or so? You know any of their number? Give them a call. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah. By the way, guys, have to reposition yourself. Not the same people next to each other, and not the same seat. Not the same people, and not the same seat. Sit differently. Okay, good. Thank you. So guys, guys online also, stop sleeping on the west. Now sleep on the east. You guys are sitting. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Alag jaga, alag jaga. From there to here. Come here. Okay, good. Thank you very much. We're done with the place and product. We'll do the promotion. Now, promotion is kind of communication, right? What is communication? You send an information and the information passes through some medium. It could be thin air, and then it is received by the receiver. It could get distorted. It could amplify. It could have noise. Many things could happen, right? So that was it. So what is communication? It's the means of persuading a customer to buy the product, inform him about the product, communicate to him about the product and what you are selling, right? Then what are the goals of marketing is to communicate, maximize your communication, make sure that you get the best information across to the right person. Okay. So one of the lessons that I was told was earlier, CDMA was a very, I don't know how many of you know what is CDMA. How many of you are engineers by profession, by work? Okay, good. So CDMA is code division, mobile phone access and things like that. So
Code division, multiple access.
Code division, multiple access. So I wouldn't know how best to describe it. So in one of the, I happened to visit factory in UK, Marconi, and then they were trying to explain to me what is CDMA. And that was the best explanation that I ever got. He got a class like this. He told us all that start talking loud. Start talking loud and start talking loud in English. So everybody started talking loud in English. Obviously, nobody could hear another one. So then he said, all of you have come from different parts of the world. Talk to each other in your local language or in your mother tongue, but still talk loud. So this time we were all talking loud in our mother tongue, me possibly in Hindi, in other words, somebody in Arabic, somebody in French. So despite the noise being here, we were able to understand each other. So that is how he defined to us as code division multiple access. So it could be noise, it could be a signal, but the way you communicate it, you get the message across. So now the types of promotion on the P is informed, there's advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, public relation, and direct marketing. Direct marketing is best. What are the examples of direct marketing? Consumer to consumer, you have the Tupperware guy selling another, that is it, or you going and selling your sophisticated instruments to DRDO, that is direct marketing. Sales promotion and personal selling is promoting your product. So the marketing promotions are, one is to inform the customer of the existing product, benefits of these products, persuade the customer to change their attitude towards the product. I don't want this product. This product is not good for me. I will not buy a Tata Motors car because Tata Motors Indica was a super bad car. So I'll not buy this. So communication is convincing the customer that yes, I'm exaggerating the situation. Yes, maybe the Indica was a bad car, but now trust us, the Nexon is brilliant. Buy this. Convince the customer to change his attitude towards the product. That's what it is to say that, no, sorry, I'll not buy this next product. I don't need this thing. Why would I want it? To convince them. And then finally, tell them that this value comes at a cost. And hence you will have to give me 49 rupees for this new toothpaste, which otherwise would have costed 40 rupees. So that is the communication that you are trying to engage yourself with your customer. But the consumer himself has a different attitude. The consumer himself behaves differently. What does the consumer says? First of all, there must be a problem, right? I have a problem. On a Sunday afternoon, it's impossible for me to get a taxi or get an auto from here to my house. That's a problem. So one is I have a problem recognition. So what do I do then? Is that I search for how do I reach from this place to another place. That is when I start evaluating the options. Should I take a Ola or should I take a Uber? So this is what happens. Then you go through a purchase decision. Do I buy it? And finally, that's not enough for us. That's not enough for us. We don't want you to buy it once. We want you to keep on buying it again and again and again. And if you don't buy it, recommend somebody else to buy it. And that is why we say is that, get a consumer and I'll give you 1 month free on an internet service. Have one person subscribe to Google Pay, I'll give you 25 rupees. These are all promotions made. So what happens is there's a problem recognition and then evaluating of the solutions that are available and finally changing their attitude towards the purchase. That is the one. And finally, this is one example that I used to say, promotion is very, very important. How do you promote it and where's the best place to promote it? I used to say that the best place to promote Akbar Travels is the travel agency that is there outside of the airport. What he can do is that on a flight, you can say that take this coupon and I'll give you 30% on your booking of the taxi from the airport. to home. So that is a right promotion at the right place. This is one example that we have. So that much on promotion, I guess. Then we'll go to price. Price is the most dangerous thing. Price is the most dangerous thing, and we'll stick to it. Now look at this. Each of us have a different meaning of this slide. Each of us have a different. There was a slide, there was an ad by HSBC, wherein somebody like Tara or somebody buys a jeans like this, and her mother sees that and said, "Oh my God, torn jeans," and she stitches it back. So, because she said, "Why is she buying such kind of jeans?" But then she's paid more to buy this. This is what it is. The price. How do you price this? A HMT Janata watch is a mechanical old watch. What do you mind? But I love it. I love it because it's no longer available. I'm willing to pay quite a premium to buy that watch. That is it. Then I was trying to get this example. An outing or old friends gathering is more than a reason for you to skip office. That's okay, man. We'll work every day. Boss will keep shouting all the time. But how can you evaluate old schoolmates or classmates joining that together? This might be an old hat, but I may have memories attached to it. And I'm willing to pay quite a fortune. That reminds me of how many of you have seen this movie? Not many have seen this movie, looks like, because the movie is very, very, very dated. In this movie, you know the character, right? I don't have to introduce him to you all. So in that movie, what happens?
No,
Amitabh Bachchan, yes? Yeah, Amitabh Bachchan is the guy who, from rags to riches, overnight becomes rags to riches. Not the right way, the wrong way. And then he goes and buys an apartment itself, a whole building complex. So he starts, when he asks the builder, how much is the price of that? The guy says, I don't know, 1 lakh or 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs, a very old movie. So, no, so he just gives that money and says he buys it. So the builder says, you might be a great businessman, but you don't know how to do business. The builder says, Amitabh Bachchan. So Amitabh Bachchan says, why? He said, I would have sold this to you at a much lower price. For which Amitabh Bachchan says, had you asked me a price 10 times of this, I would have still paid you because my mother worked as a laborer in this building when we were in a factory. So pricing can mean a very, very different things to each one. And I love this particular story is that, I don't know how many of you have read this guy called Frederick Forsyth. Okay, so he writes about a story of a small boy, a very small boy. So that small boy in one of the Latin American countries would be playing around with a stone in his hand, slightly shining stone, and doing nothing. His mother will shout at him and say, "What are you doing this? Go to the market and sell these apples." So this guy goes to the market to sell these apples, and he keeps playing with the same stone that he found. Now this merchant walks in the bazaar and looks at the stone. But now he is a smart merchant. He starts negotiating the price of the apple. He says, how much of the apple? So he says 20 rupees or something. The guy says, no, I'm willing to give you for 15 rupees only. The boy refuses. Then he says, okay, do one thing. I'll give you 20 rupees, but give me that stone, because if the dogs come running behind me to bite the apple, I need the stone to throw it at them. So he agrees to sell the stone or give the stone free for an apples of 20 rupees. And next day morning, when this small boy is walking on the street in that merchant's jewelry shop, it says uncut diamond at $10,000. So the thing is, you need to know what the price of a product that you are selling. And you also need to know how to price it so that the seller doesn't get confused. So these are some introductory slides that I thought I'll give you guys to understand the subject. We will go price in detail in another class, but we'll just stick on to it. I'll just stick on to one particular slide and do it. Okay. Pricing is very, very important. Pricing is, I want you to pay complete attention to this slide, and I hope you can see it, is the cost of the goods. That's it. That's the cost of manufacturing, right? Obviously, I don't want to sell you below the cost of manufacturing. Makes no sense. Then there is the product price. The product is 100 rupees. I'm selling it at 105. And the consumer perception value of the price is 110. Understand? 100 is a cost. I'm selling it at 105. The consumer perceives it as 110. And the right.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yeah.
Could not see the current slide.
What do you see?
We have the first slide.
I thought as much because that's what it said. Yeah, now it needs IT guys to handle this. But let me see how to get this. Hold on 1 minute. We're still seeing the. Well, why did it take you so long to wake up? I'm recording. Now, how do I get to the next slide? We'll think about it later. Okay, so the point I'm trying to say is I'm going to try explaining a different concept of price. Okay. Now, price as something which will help you make a sale. The price is something which is make or break a sale is an old concept of thinking. Sir, we cannot sell it. 19 rupees is more. We have to discount it for 15 or 23 rupees will make us very rich and the company will do very well. There's one concept of price. The other concept of price is that how do you make the consumer feel the value of the product? Why does a consumer pay 90,000 rupees for a mobile phone when he knows that it's the marginal difference in terms of features and all that? I mean, we can go on disputing that. Is because of 3 factors or 4 factors here. The cost of the goods is very clear. What did it cost me to manufacture? The product price is how much am I selling it for? What does the consumer believe its value is? And what is the true economic value? Now, if the product is 100, the true economic value is 120 rupees. The customer is willing to believe this, it is 110, and I give it to him at 105. That's the best thing that can happen. Right? That's the best thing. But how does this happen? How does it work out in reality? That is only possible if I can move the next slide. But will I be? Why would I have to go through this? Oh, I don't even have the next slide. The next. Okay. So for you to understand the true economic value of a product, I'll explain it using this slide. What is the true economic value? You're traveling by car. Why travel by car if the bus is cheaper? Why? Because anyway, you will reach from point A to, that's a first assumption. Why do you want to spare? But why do people travel by car? Because it gives you more comfort, all that thing. And why do
comfort and reaching early? Yeah. You can reach early.
No, under the assumption that both go at the same time, that is one point. Then why do people travel by business class? Even if they're going by, because it probably gives them greater comfort. There's something else which is attached to it. The true economic value that is attached to it. What is that feeling? That I get treated better. I feel great about it. and all those things that come in. Then why do people, what merit do people see in an Amazon Prime membership? What benefit? The goods come faster. Do you really want the goods to come faster? I'm sure you can wait for 2 more days for that kurta to come in. But no. So you add some amount to it. What is that amount? You normal delivery 5 days. Pay another. If you're a Prime member, you will get it overnight. Of course, we'll not bother about the other benefits of Prime, being that I get video and all that stuff. Let that aside. So a true economic value is what are the benefits of a frequent flyer guy? What is a frequent flyer guy? A guy who travels by the same airline every time. Now, for you to understand true economic value, I'll look at this. Air India, Bangalore to San Francisco will cost you 65,000 rupees. What will it give you? Okay, food. Food is no great. You have to pay extra for luggage. Then there's no lounge access. Sorry, we don't give you lounge access for that. Plus transfer delays. You never know what happened to that thing. Where did my luggage go? Where did it drop me off? And till today, at least, I don't want to tell you that I'm traveling by Air India. It doesn't give me that feel-good factor. So all of that is what I get for 65,000. Now, if I were to look at Emirates, can you mute yourself, please? If I go by Emirates, they are asking me for 85,000. But for 85,000 rupees, what do I get? I get good food. I have no limit on the luggage. And I get lounge access. I get to watch brilliant movies. And I have a brand value. I can all tell you that I traveled by Emirates, and I tell you that 10 times. And also, I get additional points on my frequent flyer. So if I were to add all of that, it will actually come to 1,10,000 rupees by my value. So compared to a 65,000, I believe that the flight of 85 makes sense because it is 110 versus 95 that I'm comparing, and I'm actually getting 85. So that is the true economic value of any product. It's a complicated mechanism, but I wanted to sink deep into you on a single thought process as to why some people actually pay more for a product because of the greater benefit that they will see it going forward. Right? Open to questions, but let me know if you have any questions. Just one particular chart on pricing strategy that I wanted to tell you. It's a kind of a dated thing, just to tell you how some companies make some very bad mistakes on pricing. Earlier, the pricing of milk was 19. Now the pricing of the milk is 21. That is the toned milk. And earlier that Shubham milk was 24 rupees. And now it's become 26. What's the problem? The problem is the underlying problem. What used to happen earlier, what you would buy the milk from the milk distributor. You would give him a 20 rupee note. And if he doesn't have a 1 rupee coin, you would ignore it. You would give him a 25 rupee. He didn't have a 1 rupee note, we would ignore it. And the guy was always the winner. He was always the winner. He gave us a rupee, he doesn't lose anything. But now the new pricing is 21 and he has to give me 9 rupees back when I give him a 30 rupees. And most of the time it doesn't happen. He is the one who has to sacrifice that 1 rupee. The same thing here. So whoever came up with the pricing model didn't think of this. There's many ways that they could have handled. Instead of making it 250 ml, They could have probably made it 240 ml and kept this at 20 so that everybody would have been happier. So just a thought saying that sometimes pricing as a strategy can go bad. Okay. So anyway, the last of the slide saying that pricing is changed now. It's no longer the 4 P's. It's also the 4 C's, and the 4 P's got changed by 7 P's, meaning what got added here? Physical evidence. However great the product is, I want to feel that product. That's why what we do before we buy a mobile, we go to the mobile outlet, feel that product, go back and order. Who's the loser? The outlet. So what was the solution to that? How did the companies come with the solution? The model number of the outlet is different from the model number of the E. So you cannot make a difference. So you really want to touch, feel it. However great it is, however lovely Myntra is, you still want to go to a West Side, you still want to go to a Shoppers Stop to feel it. Then people make the difference. My wife doesn't buy flowers or fruits from a particular guy because she doesn't like his face. But I keep telling her that it's the same fruit that the other guy is also buying. No, I don't like his fruit. So that's it. So we don't buy from the process. How complicated it is for me to go through the process. If you try, if some of the e-commerce websites are very complex in the checkout process. That's more than enough for me to do. Or if I go to a D-Mart, oh my God, there's a queue of 25 people. Sorry, I would I'd rather not buy it. So process is the other thing that got added up, right? And of course, possibly the last slide of it. 7 P's got replaced by 7 C's. And so don't get confused with 7 C's cod liver oil. So that is the end of that's the end of this class. Now comes the challenge for me to move to the next slide. I got this very confusing. Am I the only fingerprint here, or other professors also struggling? Huh? What's your roll number? Yaad rakhega. Okay. Hey, where is my? I need him one more time. Yeah. Okay, can one of you please call him? We have exactly. I'm going to take a little bit longer. 12:45. We'll do it. Is it okay? Any questions so far? Okay, let's wait for. Are you guys following me? Am I speaking Greek or English? Perfect. Am I fast or slow? Okay. You want me to be faster? Oh, it's okay. You guys following me? Yeah. Any? Yeah, I want to make sure, sir. I want to go back to Chrome. It's on the share mode now. I don't want to go to. I want to go to. Just open Chrome. Okay. No. One more slide. Okay. Then. What is it? Do you see? December 4th. No, this is also December 4th. STP.
This one. Let me see there. Let me see. Open this. No, no. So, yeah, no. Okay, okay. Yeah, this one, sir. Okay, we are done. So with this class that I'm going to complete, even if it takes 12:45 or so, I would have completed the teaching part of your assignment. Okay, so now it's up to you to go ahead and complete it. Any questions on the assignment? Sir, okay. Nobody has seen it, huh? Never ending questions. Okay. Okay, right. So don't wait back. Then we'll yeah, market growth. So, oh, perfect. Okay. Okay, good. Then it'll work. Don't worry. So I paused the record. So it's on. Okay. So market growth strategy. As I told, what is it that all companies need? Money. So how will money come? By plucking it from the trees? No.
Selling.
Right? By marketing your product, and then marketing a product is enough.
Investments in sales.
Acquiring customers
How do you acquire customers?
through marketing.
Sales.
Buy a great product.
How do you market? By acquiring customers. So yeah, so what do you have to increase your manufacturing. You have to increase. I'm not happy with the 100 crore profit that I made in my company. I want my company to make 200 crores. How do I make 200 crores? I've got 20,000 people in my company. I want to employ 30,000 more. I'm manufacturing 1 million bottles. I have to manufacture 3 million. That's a never ending strategy, right? Is to manufacture. How does it work? Only when he's around. This is growth, 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 growth is the only thing that we want. That's what your bosses tell you. That's what we tell ourselves. And we tell the other guys. I said, grow, grow. If we don't grow, how will we survive? How will we grow? We have to grow either at the cost of the competition, or we have to increase the size of the pie, right? The two ways that you can have food, by splitting it among ourselves or bringing in more food. So you have to grow in size because you want profit, you want more employees, and you have a societal name, right? I'm the Fortune 500 company. I'm the top of the list company. I have a 38% market share and things like that. So who is controlling this growth? Who is stopping you from going? You. If you do a SWOT analysis, you will know what's wrong with my company and what is wrong with it. And your customer. You must know your customer. If you don't know who is your customer, how will you sell your product? And of course, to hell with your customer, you must know who is your competitor. Know your enemy. Knowing your enemy is half the battle won, right? And of course, you must know the market where you're selling it. So these are the three things. You discuss this. This is beyond discussion, but we will try to discuss the other two topics. Actually, this guy who wrote this book, Sun Tzu, wrote it called The Art of War. He wrote it about 200, 300, 400 years back. Now, this actually, he wrote about the real battlefield. That's become the default book for how to fight the competition and how to win the market. So that is what it's about. Profit and profitability, I wouldn't really be able to give you a guess. Profitability and profits, of course, I can. Profitability is, one is to get money more. That is profits. Profitability is to make sure that it's just not money that you're looking at. Profitability could also mean is that what is the, it's like the tangible and the intangible. No. The idea is out of every product, I am making 10 rupees. That's profit. Profitability is that I am building a brand. I'm building a brand. By every water bottle sold, I'm making 10 rupees. But people are beginning to like Bisleri water. So tomorrow when Bisleri soda comes in, I have already built in a brand. Now, if you look at it, I'll give you an example of it. If I look at it, have you seen those ads for the liquor brands? The ad says music CDs, Kingfisher music CD. Where do you find it? There's not such thing. So, but what is happening is you're bringing up awareness of the product. But does that mean it increases your profits? No, it brings in profitability. By just etching it into your mind, the very thought of it is what it is. So it's a subtle difference between what is tangibly visible and what is intangible, right? For example, if you look at the Uber balance sheet, and if you look at it, Uber is not making profits. And Uber even says that I'll never make profits. But what they are going to make profits could be in the fact that they have a huge brand value to it. And that brand value could later on be tapped into something even more effective. For example, Serum Institute of India is not making money, but overnight Serum Institute of India is in our, we know about it. Why is that a big battle on Covaxin not being recognized, despite the fact that it has everything about it? Because Bharat, what is that? Bharat Biotech becomes a common name in all countries. So if their vaccine is good, I'm sure their cold medicine is also good. Indian pharmaceutical is actually doing very well because they're giving the Pfizers and the Modernas the run for the money. And now if you give up this one huge battle, that's a huge battle, right? I mean, there's no end to it. Omicron is just the beginning. So why would you want to give it? So that is the subtle difference between the two that we. So there we were. And the next slide is, I'm going to skip this slide and I find some time like last class I skipped and did this year because I want to get something going. Simple. Who is this product for? This product is for unmarried people. Brilliant. Good. What about married people? Right now. So now you are putting in some conditions. So now who is this product for? People who wish to marry and regret. No, not all. They're saying no, not all men are fools. Some are bachelors. Okay.
For all bachelors.
No, but
for all bachelors.
Or all bachelors. Correct. Now, please look at it. Serious note. Till you complete, we're not getting out of this class. So this and this. Who is this for?
Elite matrimony doesn't talk about any religion or
any language. Correct.
Yeah. Kannada matrimony, we can say it's for Canadians.
Kannada matrimony is for Kannadigas. That's it.
Yeah.
No other definition. Rich Kannadigas, poor Kannadigas, is it mentioned there?
No.
No. Very clear. Elite matrimony is no, elite matrimony, if you guys don't know, is supposed to be for that ultra rich guys. Executive business class marriages. So, but is it Not for Kannadigas? Very clear, right? There's a small amount of difference, but there's a certain amount of generality. Correct? What is the generality? You could be Kannada speaking, it doesn't even say man to man or man to woman or whatever that is, but you get the difference. Okay, very good. You guys are doing when it comes to marriage, you are all excited. Okay, who is this product not for? It's not for the rich. No, this one, diversematrimony.com. It's not.
Not for person who has never married.
So who is it? Now there's a lot of confusion. Now there's a battle going on here. Are there such people? Okay, so you get the message, right? There's no discussion. This is definitely not for those guys who are happily married, not for those guys who don't want to marry. This is for certain category of people who are married and divorced and all that. So there are products which are meant for certain people. There are products which are not meant for certain people. So you can't go ahead and advertise this in front of colleges. Diverse matrimony call, you can't put them outside of colleges, right? You might want to put them outside of courts, right? Something like that. So you need to be choosy where you put up this thing. You can't put this elite matrimony in bus stands. Correct? That's the wrong place. Nobody would want to stand in a bus stand.
I'll give it along with the customers then.
Your place matters.
No, even in college also it will work, sir.
Pardon?
It will work, sir.
Yeah,
Those
maybe.
are uncertain that our relation will work or not.
Okay, good. I don't know what he said. Now, let's go further. What does this ad do? What does this ad do?
So good for you.
Market
The feeling that the moment I push this, oh, you know what's going to happen to me. It gives you a feeling. It's not selling you anything. It's not telling you. It gives you a mental feeling that something will happen. I don't know how many of you know this character called Mungeri Lal Ke Haseen Sapne. It's about a guy in a television serial, and he keeps talking, and then he'll go off into some big dream. He'll see a car. He's actually a poor guy. He sees a car, and then he'll think about the car and a girlfriend sitting in the car, and then he getting married, and all like going into dreams. So these guys are creating a dream. It's a great feeling, but reality is nothing of that is going to happen. But it gives you that feeling. Are they telling you how much it costs? Are they telling you what it's made up of? Nothing. It gives you that feeling. That's all. Just the intro slides. Don't get too carried away by it. Don't buy an Axe Geo. Okay. Now we are getting into STP, sewage treatment plant. Okay. Now, when you start a business, you must know who is your customer. Correct? What's a big point in doing a customer? I don't even know who my customer is. Jo bhi aana hai, aa jao. It doesn't work like that, right? So if you are a restaurant, you have to make a choice. What choice do you possibly make? One choice you could do is what? Veg or non-veg is one thing that you decide that you're going to make. What I suggested was, do you want to be a fast food guy where you don't even have to have a bench? Or there's a guy near my house, and very nice. I invite you guys to come to a place called JCB. JCB is just Chole Bhature near my house. The guy has opened up small outlet. There's no place for us to stand on the road and eat, but then his Bhatures are lovely. So that's a fast food. This is fine dine. You have to decide for yourself. You have to decide for yourself as a restaurant guy. Do I want to be what segment of the society am I going to be addressing? The word segment. Which segment? But do I say man or woman? No, I didn't say anything like that. I just said, are they going to be guys in a hurry to eat food or guys who are going to be relaxed and eating the same food? That's one thing. Second is, this is college. Who are you targeting? There are two kinds of results which come out of the college. Pass or fail. Second PU fail, don't be left behind. You passed out, you want an educational. So you have to not only segment the user, you also have to target the user. I have to get exactly, I don't want everybody who is passed or every student, I'm not targeting. I'm only targeting those left behind. That's my target. Or his company's target is only the brilliant guys who are going for an education. So one is the idea of segmentation. The second is the idea of targeting. The third is positioning. What is positioning? I have a motorbike. Now, who is this? If my icon is right. Huh? Yeah, construction worker or a factory worker. This is a factory and this is a college. Now, what do I want that motorbike to convey the message to him? It's safe, more mileage, your wife can sit comfortably, whatever that is one. What's the message that I want to convey to him? Sport, zappy, what, all those things, cool, right? Yeah, flashy. So what does he perceive? What is in the mind? It's the same product. It's the same product. It's the same product. But each of us are getting a different message of what the product is all about. It's the same Apple laptop. But for me, the reason is it works. It works virus-free. It's comfortable. It somehow reads you mind very good. But for a young guy, oh, if I carry an Apple, wow, it gives me a great opinion. But it doesn't really matter for me because virtually everybody in the industry that I work don't really care what your laptop is as long as the contents of your PPT make sense, right? So this is what are the three things: segmentation, targeting, and positioning, right? Understood? Yes, no? Yes.
Yes.
Now, we'll do what is called one-rounder segmentation and targeting. This is the Alto, this is the Brezza, this is the Ertiga. And these are the ones that you know. What's the typical age of a person who is buying an Alto?
18 years. You should have a license.
I say 40, sir.
Probably in his mid-20s. What's the probable age of a guy who's buying? What's the probable income? You can define it as low, high, very high, medium, whatever. Low income. Okay. What is the gender? So now you are segmenting, and some of the characteristic of the segment is irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. Man or woman, or it doesn't matter. They might just buy it. Then family size. Right? He says 5 and he says they are in their 20s. The guy must have had child marriage. No, I'm just joking. Come on, my classes are not supposed to be serious classes. Okay? So yeah, so you're assuming that it's a small family. You're still sticking on to the idea of a family. But what is the size of a family of a Tesla car? Oh, she's going to 2 now. Diversematrimony.com. Yeah, so maybe family size doesn't matter. So maybe family size doesn't matter. So what I'm saying is lots of parameters, you will start eliminating them to get down to where do they dine? is a very important parameter. Where does a guy with Alto dine and where's a guy with a Tesla dine? Obviously, there is a difference between, right? So why do I say that? So now you know where could you put up your ad? Where do you think you could put up? Which is which feature? No, which channel do they watch? Okay, what do you think the guy Alto is watching? Huh? Which one? Serials. Okay, and this guy is watching what? We don't discuss that. Is that CNN, IBN, or maybe Netflix or something like that. So you get the point, saying that you must know your customer. Your customer. So tomorrow when the guy is coming, and I will actually wanted to put up which phone does he have, but that'll be too much of a point of discussion. So which feature will close the deal? Now what about that? Which feature? What will make the sale of an Alto happen? No. Which augmented product? Which potential product? You see the link I'm trying to bring in. It's all core product is the car. The basic product is possibly 4 wheels or whatever. What is that? Safety belts and things like that. What augmented feature would come in?
Cost.
Mileage. Only thing. Have you seen those ads, right? I mean, the guy is going on a NASA trip, and then they show the NASA museum trip. They show a model of an aircraft, and this guy is saying, "Kitna deta hai?" So the only thing that runs in his mind is "Kitna deta hai?" So for him, the only feature which will sell is this gives you 23 kilometers, whereas a Hyundai gives you 20 kilometers. That's enough for him. I mean, whether it's true or not. But what feature sells this? Augmented features. Augmented. If you buy this, I tell you, in 3 years from now, you can do autopiloting in India as well. I mean, what happens after that could be early death. That's not the point. But that's so are you seeing a link between the product, the core product, the augmented features, the potential features, and coming up? So that is knowing your customer. Next. The principles of marketing is to segment your customer, specialization, differentiation. Yeah, I think this is there. What is the specialization of Mac fast food or Udupi veg? Same thing, whatever I said. Fast, clean, value for money. That's it, right? Fast, clean. In 5 minutes, he'll roll it out and give it out to you. How it works, we don't know. Mac specializes it. Have you guys watched the movie called Mac on the Mac? Founder. Or you've seen that?
Yes, sir.
Isn't that that's a brilliant movie to watch? And if you guys haven't watched it, it's just about how do you automate it and how do you replicate it all along. In term 3, when you talk about global business, I don't take the class, somebody else, but they will tell you about how this whole thing of franchising works and why franchising has its own advantages and disadvantages. So what do you think they will add to their menu? Do you think they will add to their menu a very sophisticated dish? No. Yeah, specialists. They'll just add something which comes out overnight, very fast to deliver and things like that. The differentiation. What is differentiation? What is it that is different about me on my product from the others? The unique selling feature. The unique selling feature. What did you differentiate? It's a quality, service, value. They used to say, I used to work for my very first job was to be as a C+ teacher. Very short innings. The only innings when I was a teacher till I came back here was to teach C+ and Pascal. I mean, those are unheard languages for you guys. So it was in a place in Bangalore, and they would say, we are the only one of the kind in the world. So what do you mean by we're the only one? We're the only one where the classrooms are painted blue. So you create yourself a uniqueness. How unique is it? That really doesn't matter. I don't know how many of you follow this guy called Bob and Brad. I love these two characters. They're wonderful physical therapists. I mean, you have a frozen shoulder, or you have a catch, or you just want a 10-minute fitness exercise. I strongly recommend you guys to follow this channel. And you know what they say? They are the most famous therapists on the internet. In our opinion, they say in brackets. So that is how you kind of bring in the uniqueness. Now, Amazon Publish Services is a unique way of publishing your books. Earlier, you had to go to a publisher, and the publisher will say you have to do minimum 10,000 copies and things like that. But no longer. You want to publish 10 books, you can do that. That's uniqueness of the feature that they offer. Next is unique service, USB, the unique selling point of anything. What is it unique about your product, and what are you selling? Okay, I'm going to skip a few slides because we're running out of it. Segmentation. What do you mean by segmentation? We've all learned that in the first slide. I'm just rolling it down one more to you down. Identify that customer who appreciates your specialty. Why is it that people still go to Shell petrol pump when it costs a rupee or two more? Why do people go? Maybe, but unleaded is also available. Is despite whatever it is, the Shell petrol pump is costlier, because there are a certain sector, the people who appreciate a certain amount of speciality. It's appreciate a certain amount of speciality. So why do people go to a particular jeweler? Because the uniqueness and the specialized services that he offers to you. And if you keep your customer happy, he'll come back again and recommend to you. Oh yeah, okay. You keep your customer happy, he'll come back and recommend to you. That's the reason why I put up Krishna Shetty. So I once picked up a diamond ring from these guys, and a couple of months later or something, it's supposed to have 3 diamonds. One of the diamonds fell off. So I very reluctantly went to the guys at Krishna Chetty and said, hey man, one of the diamond has fallen off. So he said, perfect, no problem. Give it to me. I'll fit another one and give it to you. So I gave it to him. And when I picked it up, he said, no charge, it's okay. So I told him, wow, I'm a happy customer. I'm going to come back to you again and again and again. So he said, Ramesh, how big is your family? So I said, I have a son. Oh, you have a son, you will not come back again and again. If you have a daughter, you will start collecting for her marriage. So that's it. Like, you know, a happy customer will come back again and again and again. But you have to qualify your customer. This customer has got a son. He's not going to come back that very often. Okay. So this is for you to read so that you know how to answer in the question. What is some slides for me and some slides for you. Okay. This is all your reading material. See, you can create a segmentation in an area it doesn't exist. Do you think it really makes, or you go to a pillow, you go to Kurlon and say, I want a pillow. Sir, do you sleep on the side? Do you sleep on the back? Or do you are a stomach sleeper? They are creating a unique segmentation for an area which doesn't exist. So because if you're a side sleeper, we'll give you firm pillows. As though we sleep all kinds of directions, right? But then they give you a feeling. Okay, this I got inspired when I was looking at the IIT Roorkee presentation on marketing. So my presentation, I put up in my first slide I short of steel slides and data from everywhere to make it very current. So this is one way to look at it. Which one? Ah. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. And then at the end of it, yeah. Oh, okay, okay. But then they have to buy the mattress at the end of it. That is the promotion activity. Okay, okay, okay. See, one of the other promotions, since you mentioned that, one of the other promotions is it's called puppy dog selling. What is a puppy dog selling? Diversifying, okay, another 5 minutes. So what happens? You don't have a puppy dog at your house, but then your friend has a puppy dog. And then she says, I'm going on a holiday for a week or month. Can I leave it at your house? So they leave the puppy at your house. What happens over the next 10 days is you start liking it. Of course, you might hate it. That's a different subject. You start liking it. You start cuddling it. You start moving it. At the end of the 10th day, she comes back and picks it up. What's going to happen on the 11th day? You're going to buy yourself a puppy. So that is one type of marketing. And I fell for it once. What happened was there was this guy called Eureka vacuum cleaner. Eureka vacuum cleaner guy, long back when I was probably your age. So that guy would come. We were playing badminton in front of my house. The guy would come and play badminton with us. Very smart guy. I don't know where he landed up. So what he did was he said, sir, I'm going to the town for about 10, 15 days. Can I leave my vacuum cleaner at your place? So first day I said, will not touch it. Second day, third day. Anyway, he said, you're coming 10 days. So he started using the vacuum cleaner. Now, then by the time when he came back, I and my wife are having that guilt feeling. We have used it. You think we should give it? Or I think we'll rather buy it. So that is what happens. I thought you were trying to drive on that concept when you were mentioning it. Okay. Next. What's the time? Give me. Do let me know when it is. Okay. Why segmentations and the challenges of segmentation? Yeah, segmentation is important because you really want to target. What is the big point in being very general? But in all category segmentation, you cannot segment dal. Which category of people are going to buy dal? From elite matrimony to diversematrimony.com, they are buying dal. So in a lot of places, there could be no segmentation. But sometimes a simple segmentation can occur between a high income family and a low income family. The story of the Samsonite and the American Tourister. Samsonite and American Tourister, just like the other question somebody asked me, same company owner, two brands. So the Samsonite is for the rich. The American Tourister is for the lower brand. So you want to make sure that anybody who's walking into my showroom has something for him. Yeah, okay, you don't like the Samsonite, it's very expensive. So we'll give you the American Tourister. So that could be the thing. And segmentation could be multiple, right? Newspapers, everybody is reading newspapers. Yeah, it depends on whether you're reading Bangalore Times or the business page of the newspaper. So then one segment is mass customization. That is like we'll build to order kind of a thing. Okay. Are you all following me? Assumably, yes, right? We'll skip to, we have to complete this types of segmentation. The types of segmentation, you could be segmented on location. Certain things work on certain location, demography, certain things for citizens, for male. There could be products for female, which is primarily the age and sex demography, or gender. Elders could have one thing, The old could have another one. Psychological, emotional attributes. Oh, that is where the emotional attributes is the duo. Oh, you feel great about it. Whether you feel or not, it just like the fact that you have it is there. Aspirational. I mean, the moment I wear a Mintra brand, I start looking more handsome. So that's the kind of aspirational feeling that they have. So that is one on the types of segmentation. Okay, I'm going to keep moving to the next segment. I'm going to limit this and come back and talk about targeting. I'm going to give you two examples. When the Americans wanted to attack Afghanistan, they were looking for whom? Huh? Oh, Osama bin Laden, but did they know where he was? They had no idea. So what did they say? Let's bomb whole of Afghanistan. So somewhere we'll catch him, right? So they did what is called carpet bombing. But virtually every city in Afghan and every known hill in Afghanistan was bombarded because they didn't know where the enemy is. So they would do it. So that is called huge bombing. And that's an expensive thing to bomb. Whereas I don't know whether you remember this event or not. A couple of years back, a drone went and directly attacked an oil well in Saudi Arabia and destroyed it. There was no loss of human life, but that drone went and did exactly. That is targeted bombing. They knew who they wanted to target. There was no loss of manpower. In the Afghan incident, lots of people's lives were gone. Here, that was a perfect attack. So how should your advertising be? Should your advertising be carpet bombing or targeting? Carpet bombing is huge, expensive. Putting up a newspaper ad in Times of India for an executive MBA program would be foolish, right? But putting up the same thing inside the canteen of Accenture could be targeted bombing, right? So that is what is concentrated and targeting bombing. Targeting is getting right to where your customer or the chosen market is. So there's some things on the, what is the movie name? Founders, right? What is it called? Founders. Yeah, we find this in all. Venu, please mute. I'm sorry, I'm not able to look at your messages. Okay. Behavior leads to targeting. Frequent flyer program and all that. We'll just discuss this subject. We still have 10 minutes. And why food is really bad in bus stands. Is food really bad in bus stands? Why?
Because the customers are passing customers. They don't regularly come and take food there.
I'm here to give a management answer. Good. So what happens? So for them, they don't have a target audience. They don't have a target buyer. Because what is the likelihood that next time on your way to Khajuraho, you'll stand by that bus stand and eat another meal? Not in your lifetime, right? Because Khajuraho is not worth visiting second time. Okay. So the point is, even in the case of anything, let's say a regular restaurant, even the regular restaurants has three kinds of people. The primary customers, the secondary customers, and the non-regular customers. Who are the primary customers? The ones who are possibly in the neighborhood of that place, who regularly visit. Then there are the secondary customers. Who are secondary customers? The guys who either go to restaurant A or restaurant B and then keep switching between restaurant A and B and all that. That happens in the food outlets near your office or your residence. The non-regular customer is the one who comes once in a while, like the food is bad in the restaurants of the hotels. So Where do you want to target your customer? Who do you want to keep happy? You don't really care for the non-regular customers. So that is how you want to handle the behavior of the people into targeting. I'm kind of running through it for two reasons. One, we are short of time. And second is, I'm assuming that you guys know what I'm talking about. So then we'll move to the next one. Increasing relevance. Is there a positioning on? Maybe I'll come back on the next class and get down to positioning. Let me see if I have a next slide on positioning. Okay. What is this? Who's this character? I actually asked you who's the actor, but still your likelihood answer is going to be circuit. So what happens is positioning is in your mind, it's been positioned that this guy is a joker. You cannot have him do a serious role, right? It's your mental perception. The very fact that this guy is well cut, wearing a pair of glasses and wearing a good shirt, this guy is a studious, likely IIT character. You never know. It's the positioning of the mind. So it's very, very, very important as to what is the position of your product in the mind of your consumer. Now imagine this guy does a very serious role. You just won't digest it. You just won't digest it because we are used to seeing him. That's the problem with positioning, is that once you get branded, that's it. Nothing, whatever you do good will not going to work. And that's why I wanted to put this slide and then go back to the previous slide. The story of Tata and trucks. See, earlier, Tata was very good in trucks and they entered into the automotive market. We were excited about it. Why? Because if Tata knows how to manufacture trucks, they obviously know how to manufacture cars. Brilliant idea. And then they came up with Indica. Indica was rustic. It was a taxi. Nobody wanted to buy it. The Nano was a flop. Nothing was happening. We started branding Tata. Nobody was touching Tata's product. Tata was doing very badly on the consumer automotive products. Now, Tata had to take a long time to reposition there in the minds of the people. What did Tata say? Hey, listen, I bought Jaguar. Oh, wow. Tata bought Jaguar. Hopefully, Jaguar features will come into the next Tata product. I am feeling slightly better about it. But it's not going to be like that fast. They had to come with Altroz, Tiago, Tigor, all of them slowly convincing me that yes, Tata's Indica is a past history. Tata's Nano is a past history. They have to, the Tata also knows that the Altroz won't sell, the Tiago won't sell, the Tigor won't sell, but they have to create new brands so that you forget the old brands. And finally, the Nexon. Now I see, wow, that's the Nexon. Now, no longer am I treating Tata as a company which had the Indica. You know, I say, wow, Nexon. And when the Harrier comes, man, the Harrier is going to give must be a fantastic car. I've forgotten all these old stories. So even companies have to very carefully manage how the positioning of their product is in the minds of the people, right? Okay. So I guess that's it. Can go on. I am going to call it enough for now. Any questions? I would actually want you guys to fill this up, but I will do it in another class. You can actually do this for yourself. Who am I? And write your positioning statement, but we find some time, we can have another class. So with this, I am done. You know what's your assignment? Have you looked at it? What is the assignment? I've forgotten, honestly. Even you have forgotten. Brilliant. Huh? Yeah, there are a few companies. Okay. There's Satshore and there is Delivery, and then Chayos and Blue Carrot. Thanks. You will have to do what? Do a vision statement, SWOT analysis, magic quadrant, everything. 4 Ps, STP, all of this. And you are alone. You're doing, group mates are letting you down. Right? Best way to learn, man. Nobody does work. You do it yourself. I used to have a boss who would give me a work to do. He says, Ramesh, I want it on by Friday evening. Can you give it? Oh, sure, sir. Tuesday. So working on it. Friday, of course, I wouldn't have even touched it. Monday morning, he'll come and show me. This is it. I have done it. So that was a kind of a boss which would, if you don't do it, I will do it. So now I get worried if I have a boss like that. So I'll definitely try to finish it on a Friday. So good for you that they don't know. You will learn all of it yourself. And what else can I say? That's all. Right. Any questions from you guys? I know it's pretty late, another minute or so. Any questions from the group here? Open for.
Professor, are we going to discuss on the Google form answers?
Yeah, what happened was I gave you a Google form, the one on the
screen.
On the which Google form? There were one that I gave you for overnight before the class, or the new one.
Last week's.
Yeah, last week Google Forms. What do you have to say?
Are we going to touch upon that so that
we touched upon it? We touched upon it. I'll tell you 2 minutes on the Google form and then I'll be done with it.
Okay.
I was slightly unhappy with your response on the vision mission statement of Dan and Sagar executive MBA program. All of you have said give better education, become more brighter and all that stuff. But that's a very generalized. What I was looking out for is something specific to the executive program. The ability for teaching working people. The ability to make sure that we visualize a situation where it's difficult for working people to attend executive MBA program. So we would like to give a program which will allow you to work and study. That was what I thought what was the mission statement that I wanted. And the second mission statement is India has a major dearth of smart MBAs, management people. Our intent, our vision is that 20 years from now, there will be at least 5 top Fortune 500 CEOs who would have come out from our college. Well, that's a dream. And that's the way we want to visualize. And it's possible. Right? So that is what I was saying. All of you kept saying, it was very generic. It could be applicable to an engineering college, whatever you guys wrote, possibly to a medical college. So, but what I wanted was something more specific. Second is, I didn't really get the answer that I wanted for Magic Quadrant. The idea behind the Garner's Magic Quadrant is I have a variety of fruits to choose from. Which fruit would I choose? There are actually nowadays apple varieties brilliant. You have Australian apple, Himachal Pradesh apples, and all that. There are lots of fruits too. Which one would I buy? Or most precisely, which seed would I buy? So The idea of a magic quadrant is if I had $1 million, where would I invest that 1 million? On a visionary or on a challenger? Maybe the challenger is the best thing. I mean, or the leader. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to invest your money? Is every startup worth investing? Obviously not. 98% of the startups don't even go beyond the third year. They die. And 70% of the startups fold up in the fifth year. So why invest on a startup? Go ahead and invest on the leaders. But there are startups who come out to be winners. So how do you evaluate such startups? Their ability to visualize and their ability to execute. That was the reason why we wanted to have a Gartner's matrix. So that was kind of missing in your thing, but well done. Right? Hope I was able to answer your question.
Yeah.
I think I will stop now because you have a class at 1:30 and that can't be delayed.